before we continue, I saw a couple of mistakes I need to fix. Down here I put 1.6 when it really should just be 16. So let's go ahead and make that. Let's go ahead and fix that. So instead of 1.6, we actually want to put 16 here. And here, just to be more correct, I want to place a parenthesis. I want to move this parenthesis here and place the parenthesis there. All right, so what we want to do now for this, as we continue, we want to create the some of the outline here. So we want to basically do the helmet outline, and I've placed points. I placed the points that we're going to use, and we're going to start here with this horizontal line here at the top. So let's go ahead and let's change the color here. We're going to draw a line here from negative 6.5 to positive 5. I'm sorry, negative 6 to positive 5. Negative 4 to 5, and then from 0.45 to 0.65. So let's go ahead and do that. So here, I already have the points here. So the first line is going to go from this point to this point. So let's scroll down here and let's put that in. Because it's going to be a horizontal line, it's just a y equals problem. So y is going to equal whatever the y value is, and we see the y value for each one of these is 5. So we're going to say y equals 5. We have our line here, and now we want to limit that by placing a domain on here. We see the domain on the left hand side. It goes from a negative 6 to a negative 4. So let's place that in here. So negative 6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to negative 4. And we have that limited, and we want to do that here on the right hand side as well. We want it to go from 4 to 6. So we come in here, place a comma, 4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6. And now we have that part. Let's go ahead and just zoom in a little bit so we can see that a little bit better, a little more closer. All right, next thing we want to do is, again, let's turn on the next couple of points that we want to draw lines to. All right, so this here is like the I'm calling left brow 1, the top left brow. So I want to go from the point negative 4.5 to 3.5 to 2 to negative 2. Well, to do that, I'm going to use the point slope formula. Or for the point slope formula, I'm going to use this first point as the point that I want to use. So it's going to be the y value here is 3.5. So I'm going to place in here y minus 3.5. I'm going to actually put that in parentheses. It's equal to m, and I'm going to place m in here in just a moment, but I want to do the x value. So x minus, and the x value here is negative 4.5. So I want to place that also in parentheses, negative 4.5. All right. And now I need to calculate the slope. Well, the slope is going to be the difference in y values. Here it's going to be 3.5 minus 2. So let's place that here. So 3.5 minus 2 for the y values. And then let's grab the x values. And the x values are negative 4.5. And I'm going to subtract off a negative 2. So negative 4.5. And I'm subtract off a negative 2. All right, so that there is the line, and I just need to put in the domain, and we see this is going to go from negative 4.5 to negative 2. So let's just come here, and I want to place in the negative 4.5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to negative 2. All right, and that's that part of the brow. And actually, let's go ahead and let's zoom a little bit so we can see. I want to be able to see more of the equation. All right, let's go ahead and turn on right brow. And for the right brow, we have these 2 points here. And let's go ahead and start. Let's just use the point 2, 2 for this one. So we're going to place in y minus 2 is equal to m, which we'll place in later, and then x minus 2. All right, and then we're going to place in this slope here. We're going to take the difference of the y values, which is going to be 3.5 minus 2. So 3.5 minus 2, and then let's place in the values for our, subtract those x values, and that's going to be 4.5 minus 2. So 4.5 minus 2, and we need to place in the domain, and the domain here is from 2 to 4.5. So 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4.5. All right, and something I forgot to say earlier is that I'm going to place a video for the horizontal line here. I'm going to place a video up here, a link to the video showing how we did that in the previous tutorial. For this line here with a negative slope, I'm going to also place a video up here. And for this positive slope, place another video showing how we did that as well. All right, now let's go ahead and work on left brow 2. And with left brow 2, okay, we already have the, actually I already have the points up here. I'm going to use this point here, the negative 2, 1. So I'm going to place in y minus, I'm going to use the y value of 1 equal to m, which I'll place in later, x minus, and the x value is a negative 2, so I'm going to place that negative 2 in parentheses. All right, and then I want to place in the slope, which again is going to be the difference of y values divided by the difference in x values. So let's look at these two here. So let's do the y values. 2.5 minus 1. 2.5 subtract off 1, and then let's do the x values, which is negative 4.5 minus a negative 2. So negative 4.5 minus, and in parentheses I'm going to place it in negative 2, and there we have that negative slope, and I need to limit the domain, and this domain here is going from negative 4.5 to the negative 2. So let's place this in negative 4.5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to negative 2. All right, and now let's go ahead and work on the right brow 2. Let's use the point down here 2, 1 to start. So we're going to say y minus the y value, which is 1, is equal to m, which we'll place in later, x minus the x value, which is 2. And place our division bar here, and let's look at those 2 points. All right, let's go from this point here to that point. So 1 minus 2.5 is our numerator, 1 minus 2.5. And for our denominator, we're going to subtract the x values, which is going to be 2 minus 4.5. All right, there's our positive slope. And we need to place in the domain. And that domain is, again, going to go from 2 to 4.5. So 2 has to be less than or equal to x. And x has to be less than or equal to 4.5. All right, and that's limited there for the second brow. Let's work on the top of the left eye. Well, the top of the left eye has these 2 points. Let's use this point down here, I would say the easier one, which is a negative 1, 0. So the y value is going to be y minus 0. I could actually just put y, but just to be clear or more explicit, y minus 0 is equal to m times x minus, and what we say the x value here was negative 1, so I'm going to place the negative 1 in parentheses here. All right, and now let's put in the slope. We're going to do, let's do 1.5 minus 0 for the y values. And then let's do the x values, which are going to be negative 5.5 minus 1. And let's put that minus 1 in parentheses. Okay, and then we're going to again place in our domain, and we see the domain is going to be right down here, the negative 5.5 to the negative 1. Less than or equal to x, less than or equal to negative 1. All right, and now let's go ahead and work on the on the top of the right eye. And again, let's use the point down here at the bottom, the easier one, which is 1, 0. So y minus, the y value was 0 equal to, we'll put in the slope in just a second, x minus, and the x value was 1 for that point. All right, and then let's look at these one more time. All right, let's do 1.5 minus 0 for the numerator, which is our y value. And for our denominator, we're going to take 5.5 minus 1. All right, and then we're going to place in our domain, and that domain is going to match the two numbers that we have here, which are going to be from 1 to 5.5. So 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5.5. All right, so now we have these lines here for the eyes, and let's go ahead and let's connect the left hand side and then the right hand side. So on the left hand side, these are 2 points. Let's use the point negative 6, 5 to start in our equation. So the y value is going to be a 5. I'm going to place in the slope in a minute, and the x value, what was the x value again? The x value was negative 6. So I'm going to place this negative 6 in parentheses here. All right, and then we have to figure out what the slope is to get down to this point here. So let's do 5 minus 1.5 for our numerator. All right, that's the difference in y values. And then let's find the difference in our x values, which is negative 6 minus a negative 5.5. So negative 6 minus, and in parentheses, negative 5.5. And again, let's do the domain here. The domain here, we see just the x values. It's going to go from negative 6 to the negative 5.5. All right, and then let's work on the right hand side. Again, let's use the 6.5. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and just copy what we have here. Let's duplicate this. So we can just click up here. Let's click the button here to duplicate. And what you're going to notice is that here on the right hand side, all of my numbers are positive. So I'm going to get rid of this. Negative 6 here. Get rid of this negative 5.5 here. Get rid of this negative 6 here. And I have to reverse the order here, because I'm going to go from 5.5 to 6.5. And you know what did I do wrong here from my domain? Let's see. Let's get rid of this extra parenthesis. Maybe that's making a difference. No, so let's see what are we doing wrong here. So I want the difference in the y values. So that should be 5 minus 1.5. Oops, let's change. Well, that's right there. And then difference of the x values, 6 minus 5.5. The point that I want to use, let's use 5, 6. All right, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? I want to go from 5.5 to 6, not 6.5. All right, there we go. So then we have the outline there. All right, let's just slide this back a little bit and click home so we can kind of see what's going on here. All right, so that's what we have right now. This here is what we're trying to get to. So we're coming along. In the next tutorial, we're going to actually, you know what? I'm gonna place one more horizontal line up here. So I want to go from the negative 1.5 to the positive 1.5, and it's going to be a y equals 4.5. So y equals 4.5, and let's limit this domain from negative 1.5. So negative 1.5 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to, and that's going to be 1.5. All right, so we're gonna end this one here. In the next tutorial, we're going to work on the left and right eye, maybe the nose, and then go from there. Hopefully you're enjoying what we're doing here. If you like it, please like it. And as always, thank you for watching.